At first, I told myself I was overthinking everything. Arjun had always been attentive, loving, the kind of man who made you feel chosen in a room full of people. But over the last few weeks, something had changed. He became quieter, distracted, always guarding his phone like it contained something dangerous. Whenever I asked, he smiled like nothing was wrong. "Just work stress?" he'd say, kissing my forehead before changing the subject. But love has a way of noticing what words try to hide. That night, we were lying in bed in silence. The room was dim, the only sound the soft hum of the fan and the occasional vibration of his phone on the nightstand. Arjun was already asleep, one arm loosely around me. Then it buzzed again. Once, twice. I turned my head slowly. Unknown number. I hesitated. I told myself not to look. I really did, but something inside me pushed harder than logic. Carefully, I reached for his phone, expecting nothing more than spam or a wrong number. The screen unlocked easily. Too easily. And that was the first thing that made my stomach tighten. A notification was already open. A message. Does she remember what happened that night? My breath caught instantly. My fingers went cold around the phone. What night? I whispered to myself. Another message appeared beneath it, as if the sender knew I was reading. You shouldn't have let her get this close again. I sat up slowly, my heartbeat rising sharply in my ears. Arjun didn't move beside me, didn't wake, but suddenly the room felt different, heavier, colder, like the air itself had shifted the moment I read those words. I looked at him sleeping peacefully, completely unaware that his phone had just cracked open a door I was never meant to enter. And as I stared at that glowing screen, one terrifying thought settled inside my mind. If this wasn't about cheating, then what exactly had I just uncovered in my own relationship? I didn't sleep after that. Every time I closed my eyes, the words replayed in my mind like a warning I couldn't escape. Does she remember what happened that night? What night? Arjun slept beside me like nothing had changed, breathing evenly, completely unaware that his phone had already destroyed my sense of peace. By morning, I couldn't look at him the same way. He still kissed me before leaving for work, still smiled, still acted like everything between us was normal. But I wasn't normal anymore. The moment he left, I picked up his phone again. My hands shook, but this time I didn't hesitate. I went deeper. Messages, hidden folders, archived chats, and then I found it. A second conversation thread saved under a blank contact name. No profile picture, no identity, just endless messages. Some deleted, some incomplete, some intentionally vague, but all of them about me. She's starting to ask questions. Keep her calm. Not yet. If she remembers, everything falls apart. My chest tightened painfully as I scrolled further. Then I saw something that made my blood run cold. A photo. Me. Standing outside a hotel I didn't recognize. My face looked distant, almost confused. Behind the photo was a timestamp from 2 years ago. 2 years ago, I was supposed to be in another city. I zoomed in again, trying to force my memory to respond. Nothing. Not a single recollection. But the messages didn't stop. She still doesn't remember the incident. Incident. My breathing grew uneven. What incident? And why did it feel like my entire life had a missing chapter I was never allowed to read? Then I saw one final message that made everything worse. If she recovers her memory completely, we lose control of everything. I dropped the phone onto the bed like it had burned me, because suddenly I realized something horrifying. Whatever happened that night wasn't just hidden from me. It was carefully controlled. By the third day, I couldn't pretend anymore. Arjun was hiding something connected to me, and every unanswered question was starting to feel like a threat. I stopped eating properly. I stopped sleeping. I started watching him instead of loving him. So when he said he had a late meeting, I already knew I was going to follow him. He left the apartment just after 8 p.m., dressed neatly, calm as always. I waited 10 minutes before leaving behind him, careful to keep distance between our cars as we moved through the city, but he didn't go to his office. He drove straight out of the city, far, too far. My grip tightened on the steering wheel as streetlights faded into empty roads. My heart sank when I saw the sign ahead. A hotel. Old, quiet, isolated. The same one from the photograph. My stomach twisted instantly. I parked across the street and watched him step out of his car. He didn't look nervous. That was the worst part. He looked familiar with this place, like he had been here many times before. 10 minutes later, another car arrived. A woman stepped out, confident, careful, watching every direction before entering the hotel after him. I followed them inside at a distance, heart pounding so hard I thought someone might hear it. From the hallway near the lounge, I heard voices. Arjun's voice first. "She's asking more questions now," the woman replied softly. "Then it's starting again." "Starting," he snapped. "I thought this was over." A pause. Then she said something that froze me completely. "If her memory comes back fully, we won't be able to control what happens next." Memory. Control. My breath hitched. Then Arjun lowered his voice. "She wasn't supposed to remember any of it." My head spun violently as fragments flashed through my mind. Lights, screaming, a hospital corridor I didn't recognize. I stumbled back slightly, and the floor creaked beneath me. Instant silence inside the room. Arjun's voice sharpened immediately. "Did you hear that?" Footsteps moved toward the door, and in that moment I realized I wasn't just following him anymore. I was walking straight into the truth he had spent years trying to bury. I barely made it out of the hotel without collapsing. My mind was spinning, fractured with flashes I couldn't fully hold. Sirens, wet streets, a woman's scream cutting through the night. Nothing made sense, yet everything felt strangely familiar, like my body remembered what my mind refused to accept. By the time I reached home, Arjun was already there, sitting on the couch, waiting. That alone made my stomach drop. "You followed me," he said quietly. It wasn't a question. I stepped inside, locking the door behind me. "Tell me what's going on." For a long moment, he said nothing, just studied me like he was trying to decide how much truth I could survive. Then he finally spoke. 3 years ago, something happened at that hotel." My breathing slowed. "I know that much." His jaw tightened. "No, you don't know everything." I laughed bitterly. "Then start talking." He stood slowly, walking toward the window like he couldn't face me directly. "There was an accident," he said. "A fight. People you knew were involved." My head throbbed instantly. "Who?" He hesitated, and that hesitation told me everything. Then he said it. "Your sister." The room tilted. I gripped the edge of the sofa to stay upright. "No, she died in an accident years ago." Arjun shook his head. "That's what you were told." My heart slammed painfully in my chest. "What are you saying?" His voice dropped lower. "She discovered something dangerous about the people I was working with. She tried to expose them." My hands started trembling. "And me?" I whispered. Arjun finally looked at me. "You were there that night," he said softly. "And after everything happened, your mind shut it out." A cold wave spread through my body. "No," I whispered again. But even as I said it, fragments began breaking through. A hotel corridor, my sister's voice calling my name, a gunshot echoing through the walls. I stumbled back, gasping for air. Arjun reached out instinctively, but I pulled away instantly, because suddenly I understood the terrifying truth. He hadn't just been hiding a secret, he had been hiding my past from me. After that night, nothing inside me stayed the same. Sleep didn't come anymore. Every time I closed my eyes, fragments of memories returned, louder, sharper, impossible to ignore. It was like my mind had finally decided to stop protecting me. Arjun tried to stay close, but I could feel the distance growing between us. Not physical, emotional. Something had already broken. One night, while he was asleep, I sat alone in the dark living room staring at the same hotel name on my phone's search history. My hands trembled as I clicked on it again, as if I was stepping closer to something dangerous. And then it happened. The memories returned fully. No fragments this time. Everything. I saw my sister first. Alive, furious, determined. She had discovered something illegal tied to Arjun's associates, money laundering, fake identities, people disappearing after asking too many questions. That night at the hotel wasn't an accident. It was a confrontation. I was there because she called me for help. I remembered standing in the hallway, shaking, begging her to leave with me, but she refused. Voices erupted inside the room, Arjun's voice, other men, my sister shouting that she would expose everything. Then the struggle, glass breaking, and the sound that followed, a gunshot. My breath caught violently as the final memory crashed in. I hadn't just witnessed it. I had grabbed the gun afterward in shock. My fingerprints were on it. My sister was gone, and Arjun had made a choice in that moment, not to destroy me, but to erase what my mind couldn't survive. The present shattered back around me. I turned slowly. Arjun was standing behind me now. He already knew. "You remember?" he said quietly. Tears burned my eyes. "You let me believe she died in an accident." His voice broke slightly. "I saved you from losing yourself completely." I shook my head, stepping back. "No, you saved yourself from the truth coming out." Silence filled the room, because we both knew the final truth now. He didn't just hide my past. He buried me inside it.